So reconciliation of the sales ledger to the sales ledger control account question here. So you've got sales ledger here, some accounts here, balance it and work out the difference, and then you've got some differences between, you're now trying to work out what is the reason for the differences between the sales ledger and the sales ledger control account. It's 4 marks, this one, and I do think you'll use up the full 4 minutes if you do it in a particular way that I think you should do it. So we'll come back in 4 minutes time. Okay, so that's time. So what we're now going to do is we're going to go through the answer here. So we've got a sales ledger here, and what you'll see is there's a credit balance in the sales ledger. So whenever you see this kind of thing about the sales ledger, just be mindful that there probably will be or a purchase ledger, there'll be an account that'll be on the other side. That's just a little sort of check by the examiner just to see whether you can understand the difference between debits and credits. Okay, so the total of those balance was 44,563. So those three added together minus that. Yeah, and then this is the balance on the sales ledger control account. Here, so you see the difference is 1,455. Now, what we now have is then over here is the reasons book could explain the differences. And the way to do this is to, first of all, this is the difference here, okay, and then you reverse out the journal. So let's just go through and reverse out the journals. Okay, so goods returned entered twice in the customer's ledger. So that would be credit when we're doing the journal in there. So we're going to debit this out. So it's debit now twice from the sales ledger and debit once from the sales ledger control account. Okay, so we do it there, and then so we're going to reverse out that journal and then see if they're the same. So they're not the same. It's definitely, so it's not the first one. In the second one, discounts allowed. So it would be discounts allowed. So it would be credit the sales ledger control account. And so we're going to, so they were not entered in the sales ledger control account, but they were entered in the sales ledger. So to reverse it out, we're going to have to go debit the sales ledger, nothing in the sales ledger control account, and does it the same? No. So it's not that one. Okay. Let's do the third one then. Goods sold were entered twice in the customer's account. So we went debit the sales ledger twice and credit the sales ledger control once. So we're going to reverse it out by crediting them. So we're going to reverse it out, credit the sales ledger credit the sales ledger control account once. And you can see now that once we reverse that out, it's the same. So this one is one of them, in number 3. Goods returned were not entered in the sales ledger control account. So goods returned would be credit the sales ledger control account and credit the sales ledger. So we're going to reverse it out by debiting the sales ledger. Wasn't entered in the sales ledger control account, so nothing in there. So debit the sales ledger, and so it's not there. They're not the same. And then number 5, the irrecoverable debts written off were entered twice in the sales ledger control account. So it would be credit sales ledger control account is the original journal. So we're going to debit to reverse it. So we're going to debit the sales ledger control account twice, debit the sales ledger once, and you can see that's the same. So that is the answer. So it's that one. That one as well. And then the last one, checks received twice in the customer's account in the sales ledger. So check received, so it will be credit the sales ledger and credit the sales ledger control account, but twice in the sales ledger. So we're going to reverse it out, we're going to debit it. So debit that one twice and credit that one. And you can see that one's not the same. So that's number 6. Sorry. So that one's not that one. So this one is then 3 and 5. And how you go about it, this is why I think you'd use the full time on this question, is maybe even go a bit over, is that you would need to reverse out each of the journals. And now, in terms of what amounts to be used, well, this was the difference amounts here, so you could actually come up with the actual amounts really in there. If there's no amounts given, it's just saying one's bigger than the other, then just come up with a figure. Make it £100 difference, and then do the reversals like that. That's how you do this question. It's a bit fiddly. And actually quite long-winded. There's a lot actually. So you've got sort of 6 journals to think about and reverse out for 2 marks. So, but we get our time elsewhere in the exam to make up for that one. So that's the answer for this sales ledger reconciliation question.